You never know how your actions will affect someone. Here's something that happened to me 33 years ago that I still remember. A simple act of kindness from a stranger that changed my view of the world. In the summer of 1983, my brother and I set off on a great adventure to ride our bicycles across the United States. It was a trip that would take us 64 days and cover 4,900 miles from the Pacific coast of Oregon to the Atlantic coast of Virginia. Part of the reason for doing that, of course, was the adventure of it all, but I think other reasons included a desire to assert our independence, maybe to test ourselves, and to learn more about the world and our place in it. One part of a story happened on the 2nd of July, day 36. We were crossing South Dakota on Interstate 90. It was around lunchtime. It was boiling hot. We had been battling headwinds all day. Progress had been slow as we labored up and down the rolling countryside. South Dakota is not as flat as you might think. We were on yet another one of those long, slow climbs. There wasn't much traffic, but at one point an old RV rolls by. It was like many others that had passed. We noticed that about a mile up ahead as it topped the rise, it pulled over onto the shoulder and parked. It probably took us 5 or 6 sweltering minutes to get to the top where it had stopped. When we got there, a gentleman and his wife got out and flagged us down. The man said, "It's a hot day, and it looks like you boys have been riding for a long while. So we thought you might like to have a cold soda and some sandwiches that we made for you." They put fresh ham and cheese sandwiches in our hands, and then pulled orange sodas from a cooler and gave them to us. At that moment, that was the most amazing thing we could have heard. The sandwiches were wonderful, and the ice-cold Fanta, absolutely heavenly. I held the cool can to my forehead before chugging it down. We stood in the shade of their RV and chatted for a while, and then they were on their way. The whole thing lasted maybe 10 minutes. But for the rest of the day, our morale was a little higher. We rode a little easier. 30 days later, we completed our cross-country trip. We were leaner, confident, maybe a little wiser about who we were and what we were capable of. And if you ask me what one of the main things I learned on the trip, it was this: people are generally pretty good. We came to that conclusion after the orange soda incident and dozens of others like it that we experience almost every day along the way. You know, that was over 33 years ago, but I still remember it clearly. Somebody we didn't know took the time to do something nice and help us along our way on a hot July day in South Dakota. I'm sure they don't remember it now, but it had a huge impact on us. Now everyone I meet, I start with the idea that they're probably a pretty good person too. What's the takeaway? When you see an opportunity to do something nice for someone, don't hesitate to help out. You never know what impact it will have. You could be changing their view of the world and making it a better place. And to that husband and wife traveling the country in their RV, thank you again. May God bless your journeys wherever they take you.